Hello, everybody. I wanted to do a kind of different video today, mostly because there's a topic floating around out there presented by Elon Musk. A couple of different things that he espouses. Obviously, his focus on the F-35, which is, maybe it might be justified. I think we have this idea of, jack of all trades, master of none, and there's something to be said for that. I don't know enough about the F-35 to really speak about how capable it is, so I'm not really going to get too in-depth into that. But there's some precedent for trying to make one platform do too many things. It's never going to excel at any of them, and, that's a fair argument to make. I don't know enough about the aircraft itself to really speak intelligently on that, so I'm going to set that to the side and just say that I hear the argument and it kind of makes sense to me, but need more information on it. The other side of his argument, though, is he seems to subscribe to this idea that we need to remove the human equation from aircraft, and I don't know. I see a lot of danger in that. There's something to be said for having a thinking, feeling, conscious human presence in these situations that we have going on in the world. I know that our default response is to be horrified at the idea that somebody might have to give up their life in defense of our country or in whatever situation that's going on. But there's something to be said for having somebody who is capable of analyzing a situation separately from the chain of command and making their own decisions about whether they're going to do something. Having more people in that chain reduces the chances of horrible decisions being carried out. I think we've seen many times in the history of our own military and in the history of the world that sometimes people in charge lose their perspective and a lot of times they lose their moral compass. They get so fixated on accomplishing an objective, or they become self-motivated for whatever reason, whether it's corruption or whatever situation. There's myriad different ways that people in charge can become tainted or corrupted or make bad decisions or whatever it is. And having more people between the decision makers and the things that actually happen can be a very good thing, because it adds more checks to the process. And we live in a country that was founded on the idea that giving too much power to one person or one group of people is not a good way to have things happen. It always ends up in some form of oppression, the loss of lives in an unreasonable way. And, we've seen what happens when that happens. And I think that we need to have a serious discussion about the cost to benefit of risking human lives and having checks and balances in the things that happen in the world. I don't think that it's necessarily the best idea to start taking people out of the process. I understand we have this innate need to try to prevent people from risking their lives or reduce the risk to people. It's an understandable and valid concern, and we should be taking every measure possible to reduce the chances of unreasonable risk to people. But then we have to start thinking about what is a reasonable risk. That's going to change depending on who you're talking to. But I would like to make the argument that having people in those dangerous situations provides a certain perspective that makes it so that we reduce the risk of making the wrong decisions and having bad things happen, because, we've seen time and again how tragedies happen because people who are unaffected by the decisions that they make certain decisions, and then those decisions are carried out, and then people far away end up having horrible things happen to them because there was no reason there was no real consideration for the consequences to whoever was affected by those decisions. We see it happen all the time. And my fear is that removing humans from battlefield situations is only going to exacerbate that, because now when you start removing the chance that we're going to lose our own people from a situation, the people in charge who are doing these risk assessments are now less incentivized to make a moral decision and are more concerned with just, well, we need to accomplish the mission. And now we don't have to worry. Now we don't have to worry about risking our own lives getting it done. So now just do it. Just go and do it. And then the other side of it is, while it might be slightly more conspiratorial, the more we automate our military and defense systems, the more likely it is that those systems will be turned against us. Because one of the things that keeps our nation free is the fact that our military, for the most part, has been a voluntary force over the course of our history. Yeah, there's been the draft and some other things like that, but overall, we are citizen soldiers. I served for 11 years as a United States Marine, and I never would have followed an order that required me to do something that I knew was contrary to the good, that was against our citizenry. You know what I mean? And when you start taking the human equation out of that process, it becomes much more likely that those things are going to start to happen. It'll start slow, and then it'll grow and grow. But we've seen, all you have to do is look at corruption in our government. All you have to do is look at big companies that have consolidated massive amounts of power, and they don't give a crap about the people they hurt along the way. And all you have to do is look at overzealous military leaders who end up doing things for what they think are the right reasons, but they do them in the wrong way. And the only thing that stops that is having more people in the process to say, hey, wait, whoa, 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 whoa. What are we doing here? And the more people you remove from that process, the more likely you're going to get bad outcomes. One of the things that keeps everything working great, one of the reasons why our country excels, is because we have a lot of people eyeballing things and saying, hey, whoa, what about this? What about this? And while it does sometimes tend to slow things down, and while it does tend to make things harder a lot of the time, the fact that we keep ourselves open, the fact that we keep ourselves trying to bring in as many opinions as possible, that's what makes things work, and that's what pushes us into what we feel is a morally good way of going. And removing people from the process, the more we try to streamline these things, and the more we try to remove the human equation from our processes, the more we open ourselves up to really bad unintended consequences. So I just wanted to put it out there so that hopefully a few people, maybe somebody important will come across this video and say, I hadn't thought about that before. Maybe we should start talking about this. Because I see a lot of, there's AI and all the stuff that we're trying to push, and we're trying to, make things faster and more automated and all that stuff. And, while there are uses for that, I think in many scenarios it's inappropriate. And I hope that more people will start to think about that and start to, start pushing back in the opposite direction. Automation is great. We need it. There are many facets of our lives where automation is really important. But completely removing humans from the equation, I think, is a recipe for disaster. And I think it's something that we should seriously consider before we start pushing really hard in that direction. So thanks for watching. Click the like button, subscribe, all that cool stuff. Think about it. Just think about it for a little bit. Maybe bring it up with some people. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you for the next video.